High above the Arctic, a powerful and mysterious system known as the polar vortex spins relentlessly through the long, dark winter months. This vast circulation of air is a crucial player in shaping the weather patterns we experience far to the south, even if we can't see it with the naked eye. The polar vortex isn't a storm or a single event, but rather a massive, swirling mass of frigid air, contained by fierce westerly winds high up in the stratosphere, about 10 to 50 kilometers above the Earth's surface. These winds act like a giant atmospheric fence, keeping the coldest air bottled up near the North Pole. This invisible barrier is what keeps the Arctic's icy grip from reaching much of Europe, North America, and Asia during winter. When the vortex is strong and stable, it acts as a shield, locking the cold in place and allowing milder air to dominate the mid-latitudes. Under these conditions, winters in cities like Paris, Berlin, or London tend to be less severe, with only occasional cold spells and lighter snowfall. The Arctic chill remains trapped far to the north, and life in the mid-latitudes continues with little disruption. But the polar vortex isn't always so well behaved. Sometimes it weakens, splits, or wobbles, breaking down the atmospheric fence that holds the cold in place. This can happen due to sudden stratospheric warming events or shifts in the jet stream, which disturb the vortex's stability. When this happens, frigid Arctic air can spill southward in dramatic fashion, plunging deep into Europe, North America, and even parts of Asia. These surges bring extreme cold snaps, blizzards, and winter storms that can catch cities and residents off guard. These disruptions can transform what would have been a routine winter into a season of headline-making events, record-breaking cold, heavy snowfalls, and widespread travel chaos. The impact can be felt everywhere, from schools and businesses to transportation and energy systems. The stability of the polar vortex is a key factor in determining the severity of our winter weather. Meteorologists closely monitor its strength and position, using advanced models and satellite data to predict potential disruptions weeks in advance. When the vortex breaks down, the unleashed Arctic air can disrupt daily life, strain infrastructure, and test our ability to cope with extreme weather. Roads become treacherous, public transport slows, and energy demands soar as people try to stay warm. Understanding this high-altitude phenomenon helps explain why some winters are harsher than others, and why a mild season can suddenly turn severe. It's a reminder of how interconnected our weather is with the forces at play high above the Earth's surface. The polar vortex is a hidden force, quietly shaping the climate and weather patterns far below, often without us realizing its influence. Its reach extends all the way from the stratosphere down to our streets, affecting everything from our daily routines to the very infrastructure we depend on. By understanding the polar vortex, we gain insight into the dramatic swings of winter and how to better prepare for whatever the season may bring. High above the Earth, swirling around the Arctic, lies the polar vortex, a vast, powerful circulation of cold air that helps regulate our planet's climate. But sometimes this mighty vortex can be dramatically disrupted by a remarkable phenomenon known as sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW. During an SSW event, temperatures in the stratosphere over the Arctic can skyrocket by up to 50 degrees Celsius in just a matter of days. This is an astonishing change, considering the stratosphere is usually one of the coldest layers of our atmosphere. But what causes this sudden and dramatic warming? The answer lies in powerful atmospheric waves, which are often generated when strong winds flow over mountain ranges or when there are sharp temperature contrasts between different regions. These waves act like invisible hands, reaching up from the lower atmosphere. As these waves travel upward, they push energy into the stratosphere, slamming into the polar vortex and destabilizing its once stable circulation. This process is like throwing a wrench into a finely tuned machine. The vortex's powerful winds can slow down, falter, or even reverse direction entirely, a clear sign that the system is under stress and beginning to unravel. As the vortex weakens, its tight grip on the frigid Arctic air begins to loosen, allowing that cold air to escape its usual confines. The effects of this disruption don't stay high above us. They slowly descend through the atmosphere, eventually altering the path of the jet stream, the fast-moving river of air that steers our weather systems across the globe. With the once stable barrier now broken, Arctic air is free to surge southward, bringing a blast of frigid temperatures to regions that are often unprepared for such extremes. SSW events are the hidden spark behind many of our most severe winter cold snaps, catching cities and communities off guard with sudden, intense cold and heavy snowfall. So, when the stratosphere warms dramatically, the world below often feels the chill, reminding us of the powerful, invisible forces shaping our weather every day. When a sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW, strikes, the polar vortex doesn't simply vanish. It undergoes a dramatic transformation high above the Earth. This powerful event disrupts the usual flow of air around the pole, setting off a chain of atmospheric changes that ripple downward through the layers of our atmosphere. The once cohesive vortex, which normally acts like a spinning barrier trapping cold air in the Arctic, can become unstable. It may stretch into odd shapes, shift away from its usual position, or even split apart entirely into smaller daughter vortices, each carrying its own pocket of frigid air. These fragments don't stay put. Instead, they drift away from the pole, unleashing intense cold on regions far to the south. Europe, North America, and even parts of Asia can suddenly find themselves in the grip of severe winter weather, seemingly out of nowhere. The winds that once circled the pole like a protective fence can actually reverse direction. This reversal acts like a broken dam, allowing Arctic air to spill southward, escaping its icy prison and flooding into lower latitudes. This breakdown of the vortex is what leads to infamous weather events, such as the Beast from the East, which brought record-breaking snow and cold to Europe in recent years, disrupting daily life and challenging infrastructure. The process is like a domino effect. A single disturbance high in the stratosphere triggers a cascade of changes that tumble down through the atmosphere, eventually reaching the ground and altering our weather in dramatic ways. It's remarkable to think that a single event, thousands of kilometers above us, can determine whether we experience a mild winter or face a full-blown winter crisis with snow, ice, and freezing temperatures. The breakdown of the vortex is the critical link between complex atmospheric science and the everyday reality of millions of people. Meteorologists closely monitor these changes, using advanced models to predict when and where the next cold wave might strike. It's a powerful reminder of how interconnected our planet's systems truly are. What happens high above the Arctic can shape the lives of people thousands of miles away. When the vortex unravels, the consequences ripple across continents, and the impact is felt by millions, from city streets to rural villages, of nature's incredible reach and power. In early 2018, Europe experienced the full force of a polar vortex disruption. A major SSW event split the vortex, unleashing Siberian air across the continent. Temperatures plunged, snowstorms swept in, and cities like London and Dublin ground to a halt. Transport networks collapsed, schools and businesses closed, and the economic impact was immense. The Beast from the East was a vivid demonstration of how stratospheric events can reshape daily life. For many, the memory of empty shelves and snowbound streets is still fresh. It's a powerful reminder of our vulnerability to the atmosphere's extremes. The 2018 cold wave affected more than just travel and business. Wildlife struggled, with birds and marine life suffering in the deep freeze. Farmers faced crop damage and challenges caring for livestock as snow blocked access and water supplies froze. Hospitals saw a surge in cold-related illnesses, and emergency services worked around the clock. Communities pulled together, helping neighbors and clearing snow. Energy demand soared, straining national grids and driving up bills. The event exposed the fragility of our infrastructure in the face of extreme cold. It was a wake-up call for resilience and preparedness. Now in late 2025, scientists are watching the stratosphere closely. Forecasts suggest another major SSW could be brewing, with signs eerily similar to 2018. A reversal of stratospheric winds may soon signal the polar vortex's breakdown. The risk of another Arctic outbreak in Europe is rising. This time, the event unfolds in a rapidly warming Arctic, where climate change may be making disruptions more likely. Researchers are racing to provide early warnings, using satellites and weather balloons to track every shift. The next few weeks will be crucial for preparation. The world is watching for the next beast from the east. How does a stratospheric event become a blizzard on your street? It starts with SSW disrupting the polar vortex, which then weakens the jet stream. The jet stream becomes wavy, allowing cold Arctic air to plunge south. Blocking high-pressure systems can lock this pattern in place, diverting mild Atlantic air and opening the door to Siberian winds. These easterly winds sweep across Europe, picking up moisture and dumping heavy snow. The result: persistent cold, snowstorms, and widespread disruption. Each step from the stratosphere to the ground is a link in a chain. This process shows how distant atmospheric changes can shape our daily weather. The beast from the east is a dramatic example of this chain reaction. It's a reminder of the power and complexity of our climate system. Another beast from the east isn't just a news story, it affects us all. Extreme cold threatens health, disrupts travel, and strains energy supplies. Roads and railways become treacherous, schools close, and daily routines are upended. The economic toll is huge, with industries halted and energy bills soaring. Vulnerable people face the greatest risks, making community support vital. These events highlight the need for preparation, insulating homes, checking on neighbors, and heating forecasts. Understanding the science helps us stay safe and resilient. Weather isn't just background noise, it shapes our lives. Forecasting SSW events is a triumph of modern science. Satellites and weather balloons provide real-time data on the stratosphere. This information feeds into complex computer models, allowing scientists to predict disruptions weeks in advance. Early warnings give governments and industries time to prepare, stockpiling supplies, readying emergency services, and protecting the vulnerable. This lead time saves lives and money. Watching the polar vortex is more than academic, it's essential for public safety. Science turns knowledge into action, helping us weather the storm. Understanding the vortex means being ready for whatever winter brings.